Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our call, the REMN 5-Day HELOC Broker Process Overview. Today, we're joined by Carl Markman, our National Director of Sales. We have Alex Nichols, who's going to walk us through the actual experience, the borrower experience on there. We also have Frank Perangini, who is our manager of our help desk, who you may have already dealt with and who's highly integrated with this whole process. We hope you're going to find today's training very useful. If you have any questions at any point, we do have a Q&A section where you're more than welcome to type in your questions. We do have a lot of attendees today. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep all of those questions. We'll be able to answer them after the webinar, but please feel free to go ahead and put them right in the Q&A section. That way we'll be able to export those. We'll take our time to get those answers to you directly afterwards. Without further ado, Carl, I will pass it over to you.
Thank you very much, Karen, and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are across the country. I just want to welcome everyone to this call. I think it's obvious to all of us how difficult the market is today. We're all scraping wherever we can get a loan in, and if the HELOC program wasn't as successful as it's been, there wouldn't be thousands
Carl,
of you.
I'm going to pause you real quick only because we're getting some feedback that there's no sound. If you can hear us right now, could you let us know in the question area that you're able to hear us? Because I can't tell if this is a personal issue on the user's end. Excellent. Plenty of people can hear. I'm going to respond to the individuals who are not able to hear. Go ahead, Carl. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Okay, I guess I could use sign language as well. So as I was saying, it's a very, very difficult market out there. And my marketing department wanted me to use all these keywords, these sales terms, just to kind of get everyone excited. If anyone knows me, and a lot of you do, because I've been doing this in the business a long time, that's kind of not the way I operate. I've personally been with REMN Wholesale for 14 years in October. And if you don't know who I am, please go onto LinkedIn and look me up. But more importantly, you might want to head over to the REMN Wholesale site and click on follow us, because there's a lot of products that we have that you might not be aware of, and a lot of products that we're going to be offering over the next several weeks. So I just want to say that because this is such a product that's needed in today's environment, and 5 years ago, all of you weren't able to sell this and make any money and be able to help your customers, and now you can. So without further ado, I'm actually going to hand this off to the gentleman, Frank, that's going to just present real quickly what the broker is going to be handling here, and then he'll hand that off to Alex, and then I'll come back at the end. But thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Carl, and welcome everyone. Good afternoon and good morning. I'm going to very briefly talk about the broker part of the experience here, but it's going to be very quick because ultimately the star of the show is Alex, and we're, the main goal is to discuss the borrower experience. But we did want to touch on the broker stuff for very briefly because it's been such a huge turnout, and we feel like it's going to help you guys a little bit on getting these things through a little bit smoothly. So the first step, our website. When you come to our website, there's tons of product knowledge, FAQs, information on the HELOC itself, and then also how to actually start the application from the broker side. And that's a 6-step process, and I'm going to very briefly touch on some of the steps and focus on a couple others, and then I'll hand it over to Alex. So step 1, once you click on that link for the HELOC certification on our website, you're going to start on step 1, which is basic borrower information, right? So this is just basic borrower info. It does ask if the property is currently listed for sale, which currently, if it is, that won't make it eligible. Step 2, more very simple stuff. Not going to spend too much time on this. This is basic property information. Step 3, this part, you're going to enter information on the income, on your credit pull, and basic liability information. I know I'm going fast, but here's the fun stuff. Step 4. Step 4, now this is one of the steps that I do want you to kind of take a pause, take a look at the items that you're checking off, and you're going to check off all 5 boxes. Essentially, this is confirming your broker-borrower relationship for this transaction, okay? So review that information, make sure that those are all accurate and the answers are yes, and then you move on to step 5. Step 5 is the mortgage loan origination agreement. So this does become a disclosure of record. So it is important that this is filled out correctly. Not super hard though. The last step that I want to point out here is you're going to put in the broker MLO name. So you're going to put your name in there. You're going to put today's date, right? I know it's kind of funny, but we see tons where autofill sometimes puts in your birthday and then we have to start all over, right? So please don't use the autofill. Don't put in your birthday. I love all you guys, but I'm not sending you a birthday card. So make sure that you're putting in today's date. Otherwise, we do have to start the application process over again, just because this is a disclosure of record, right? So we have to make sure that it's accurate. Step 6, this is the broker information, right? So you're going to put in all of your info on here. Obviously, NMLS info and your info here is extremely important. But I do want to point out the broker mailing address on the bottom. This is where the broker check is going to go out to. So we're going to send out a physical check to the address you put here. Put in any information that will help ensure that the check gets to where it needs to go to be processed. So if it needs to be to any person or any department's attention, put it right in the street address section. That's totally fine. That is going to help make sure that you get your check and you get your check on time. There is ACH payment options available. And if you guys do want to look into that option, please contact your account executive and we will work together to get you guys set up for ACH, and we can bypass physical check mailing and we can send your broker checks via ACH. Once you've completed those 6 steps, not too difficult, right? You'll get a submission confirmation. We will get the request over to our help desk and we will respond within 2 hours. We review the information, we make sure everything's good to go, and we will send you a personalized link to your email. And that personalized link is what you're going to share with your borrower so that they could begin their part of the process. So again, I know that was pretty quick, but I didn't want to spend too much time on the broker stuff because obviously this presentation is meant to be for the borrower experience. However, if you do have any questions or wanted to talk more about any of the steps or any questions from your role as the broker, you could always reach us here at REMNWholesale.com. If you see the help desk section there, you also have a little chat button on the bottom, and you can chat with one of our help desk agents to answer any of your questions that you might have, as well as, of course, reach out to your account executives. And with that, thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it off to the star show. Alex, all yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Nichols. I am here to show you the borrower side of things. I'm pretty excited about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a 2-part presentation here. First and foremost, I'm going to be going through a presentation on the borrower side as a little top-down view. We're going to be going over the details about the REMN HELOC product itself. I'm going to be talking about what we offer, some of the details, some of the restrictions, things to keep in mind, all that fun stuff. As well as then I am going to go through the application flow itself. So we're going to see the borrower side directly. We're going to see each and every page I'm going to be talking about in its entirety. So by the end of this, you have a full idea and understanding of what that is going to be looking like. So give me one moment. We're going to go ahead and have the presenter be passed over to me. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump right into it. Julie, if you mind passing me over the presenter mode.
Oh, my apologies. Let me go ahead and get that over to you right now, Mr. Alex.
No worries at all.
There we go. Make presenter. And you have the
That's
hot tip.
wonderful. You are so awesome. Thank you so much. Cool. So let's talk about this. So we are going to be talking about REMN. So here at REMN, we have a fantastic product. This is going to be our home equity line. If you go to our website under products, you are going to be able to take a look at that. I urge you and consider just take a look, but we're going to be going over this together. So just like Frank said, make sure to fill out that eligibility form, go through the certification, all that good stuff. But I'm going to be talking specifically about the borrower experience. So let's jump into this. This is a very exciting product we offer, and I really want to hone in on basically why to use it, why the REMN HELOC. Let's talk about it. Number one, biggest thing here is that this is a fully online application process. This is an automated system. You're going to hear me say the word automated a lot of times over the next hour. Here, very specifically, this is an application process that goes through our website. It's going to go through our own system. It's going to be completely automated. It's going to be completely online. So once you go through that eligibility form, once you get that link and send it to your borrower, they're going to be able to start the process, and they can go through it directly online, say like a web browser on their computer, on a mobile device. I think it's 63% of people use it on mobile. So we're very mobile friendly for people to go through it. And they can get it done as soon as 15 minutes. It is a very fast product. It's a very easy product. There may be some time where they're going to have to go through a bit more information. We may request some documentation, but overall, because it is fully online, this thing is fast. This is the fastest HELOC you're ever going to see in your life. So it is fully online. You're going to have that link. You're going to send it to that borrower. They can also apply online if they want to directly, but for the most part, you're going to send them a link. You're going to talk to them about it, give them all the information. They're going to go, great, let me take a look at that. They're going to jump on into that thing. It is fully automated. So again, I'm going to say automated a lot. Apologize off the bat for that. Number one, we use an automated valuation model. So we don't do an in-house appraisal. No one's going to go to their house. They're not going to be having to pay for someone to come by, take a look at their property and anything like that. It is an AVM, as well as we do an AUS for the entire thing. So right away, what's going to happen is I am going to show you the page, apologies there, that they fill out. They're going to fill out a single page of information. And then boom, they're going to see what their pre-qualified offers are. We do an AUS, we do an AVM. It's going to pull that appraisal, property data, do the full underwriting right there for those pre-qualifications. Typically, that takes less than 30 seconds for them to see those pre-qualified offers. Another thing I'm going to say a whole bunch is that it is only soft credit initially. That is really big to me. We don't do hard credit until near the end of the application once we get to those final offers. With this particular product, it is just an initial soft credit pull through Experian. And we use the FICO 9 model specifically. So what the borrower is going to do is they're going to get your link. They're going to go in and fill out that first page. We're just going to do a soft credit pull. Boom, they can see their pre-qualified offers. They can see if for any reason they're declined. They can see all the information right up front without a hard credit pull. And from there, it's a very, very easy application process. Later on, I'm going to show you every page. I'm going to show you how quick it is. But they're going to go through the entirety of it. And then boom, we can get them wrapped up. In funding itself, fastest you're going to see. Funding as soon as 5 business days. So I want to hone in on that because that is a big thing to me. Number one reason it's 5 business days is for primary residences, we do require that 3-day rescission period. So typically they'll go through the application, go through notary, we'll do e-notary where available. We get them wrapped up, they go through a 3-day rescission period with funding after that. There can be a little bit of delays if we have to do, say, a mobile notary where we'll send a notary out to them, which I'll talk about later. As well as on secondary properties, we won't have to do rescission. But for most applications, I have probably honestly at this point seen thousands of applications go through with this thing, getting funded as soon as 5 business days. It is that fast, I promise. It is incredibly fast for the borrower. On top of that, we don't have a lot of fees here. Like I said, they're not going to pay for an appraisal where someone comes out to their house to look around. They're not going to pay for a title fee. They're not going to pay for any real fees outside of what is a one-time origination fee. You're going to see this directly once I get to the application flow on the borrower side, but all there is a one-time origination fee, and that is a part of the total loan amount. So they won't have to pay anything into closing. So it will cost them absolutely nothing to go through this application to get it all finalized and then get into funding itself. Now, one-time origination fee is that fee right on there. Otherwise, there's no other fees on this. I'm not talking, title fees, appraisal fees, whatever fees that you can think of in your head. Super easy application process. It leans on the side of ease for the borrower. So we'll talk more about the origination fee in a little bit here. Another big thing with this product, a lot of people really like this, is the full disbursement up front. This is great for people who are doing like debt consolidation or home improvements. This is a full disbursement product. So we don't do partial disbursements. It is a line of credit, but we're going to do that full disbursement up front. So when I say as soon as 5 business days for funding, I'm talking about them getting that full disbursement right into their linked disbursement account. Boom, they can do whatever they want with the money. They can go around, they can, like I said, do home improvements or what they'd like. Big thing there is it's incredibly fast funding, and it is super easy for them to get that money And then on top of that, they'll just have simple monthly payments. And with those monthly payments, this is going to be a fully amortized loan. So we'll see that there also on the borrower side. They're going to see what their estimated monthly payments are. They'll be able to select their term. And most importantly to me, when I'm talking about no other fees, there are no prepayment penalties as well. So this is definitely something that if they want to pay it off sooner, they absolutely can. There's no crazy balloon payments at the end. They're simply going to know what my estimated monthly payment. They're going to start making those monthly payments. They can either pay it off at the end of their term, or if they wanted to, they could pay it off sooner. Talking about that as well as ease on the borrower, this is a fixed rate product. We don't do variable rate here at REMN with this HELOC product. We do a fixed rate. So the big thing there is that they are going to know right away on that offer screen what their fixed rate is on the APR, that initial draw. So they're going to know that fixed rate on that full disbursement. And then it's still a line of credit, right? So if they do an additional draw, they're going to be able to see what that fixed rate will be, and it's always going to be a fixed rate. We do not do variable rates on our HELOC product. So again, super easy, super fast, and they know exactly what they're getting into, which I think, nowadays that's really important for borrowers. And like I said, it is a fully amortized loan. So that is an easy thing. Once you send them that link, they fill out that first page, go through a tiny bit of information, less than 30 seconds, they typically will see their pre-qualified offers, and they're gonna know right away what they're getting into. It's fully amortized, they select their term, they're gonna see the estimated monthly payment, they're gonna see that fixed APR right there on that full disbursement, and they're gonna have all that information. So the rest of the application, they're confirming their information, agreeing to forms, filling things out, getting ready for notary, etc. But they're knowing exactly what they're getting into. And then later on, like I said, in the application, we will do a hard credit pull and we will get them their final offer. We're going to see all that, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about what the REMN HELOC has to offer as compared to a traditional HELOC, because I do like showing the difference between the two and the reason to use it. Number one, like I said, it's a fixed rate. This is really, really big. There are no variable rates with this product. It's all going to be a fixed rate. They know exactly what that APR is going to be. So I'm going to show you that right there on the offer screen once we go through the application. Number two, it is an automated application. So we here do not have any underwriters doing some crazy math on the back end. We simply have an automated system doing that automated underwriting as well as that automated AVM. So potentially, like I said, I have absolutely helped borrowers through, get done in about 15 minutes. And of course, we're going to be talking about this. They have definitely more time if they want to ask questions, think it over, have a discussion with you, that kind of thing. But overall, because it is fully automated, they can just zip through this process like I'm going to show you later in this presentation. It is also, like I said, fully automated on their underwriting itself. The big thing here is that we're going to be pulling all that information. They are not going to have to wait. They're not going to have to wait a couple weeks going, oh shoot, I hope I get this. They're going to know exactly what that pre-qualification is. And then once we do that final underwriting and pull that hard credit, they're going to know what those final offers are at the very end of that application without really any too much waiting, unless you count 30 seconds waiting. A big thing here as well is that this is still HELOC. REMN HELOC, right, is going to have that draw feature right on there. So this is going to be a line of credit. So we do a full disbursement up front. They are more than welcome to do draws in the future. So later on, I'm going to be breaking that down, how those redraw functions work. But again, this is a fully online application. So if they want to do a redraw, all they got to do is log into that REMN account that they create. And they're going to go on there, and any available principal, they can do that as a redraw for so many years. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more in this presentation. The appraisal itself, big thing here, AVM, like I said, there's no in-person appraisal or anything like that. There's no title reporting or anything crazy like that. And again, depending on the state and county requirements, we can do e-closings. So big thing there when I say as soon as 5 business days, a lot of times we can do an e-notary session. Little video call like this, you and me sitting down, we do that e-closing. And if it is a mobile notary, all the borrower has to do is schedule a date, time, and location. It will send someone out. Very, very easy. We try to make it as easy as possible where we can. And of course, with funding, full disbursement up front. Again, there's no prepayment penalties, but they're getting that money right away. We're going to do that full disbursement. So we're going to talk more about that when we get to the offer page. I'm going to break it down step by step in more detail. But let's move on. Let's talk about the application process, and then I'm going to be talking about some specifics when it comes to requirements on this HELOC. Number one, for the REMN HELOC here, we have an application where there is a single primary applicant. So the big thing is that there are no co-applicants. We are only having a single primary applicant. That person that you send that link to, they are going to go through the application flow. Anyone else added on is going to be just a requirement for the signing at the end. No, we're not going to pull the hard credit of anyone else. We can look at spousal income in certain situations, which I'll talk about here shortly. But overall, there's a single primary applicant that's going to go through the application, get it done. Anyone else is just going to sign at the end for notary. Those people are going to be added on. Those are going to be additional signers. So that we're not going to have software hard credit pull. We're not going to be pulling their information. So that primary applicant's going to get through. They're going to wrap things up on that application. They're going to add on those additional signers. All those additional signers have to do for notary. So it's great. You know, a lot of times, you know, people aren't getting their hard credit pulled on multiple people, just a primary. But of course, a lot of people, right, they're going to want to verify their spousal income. We can do that in community property and homestead states. As well as community property and homestead states, we are going to be adding on any spouses. So those people will just have to do the signing at the end. But again, we're not going to pull their hard credit. But we definitely can look at their income when it comes to qualifications in those specific states. So we're going to break this down a little bit more in income verification later. I'll tell you specifics, as well as I'm going to show you the income verification screen. We could just go all over. I'm adding a lot of information on that. Now, very initially, for the soft credit pull, it is a 10-day period where they can think it over, they can ask you questions, they can talk to spouses or friends or whoever they like. They're going to have a 10-day period from that initial soft credit pull to where they can think over their pre-qualified offers and go through a majority of the application. So if it expires for any reason after 10 days, they are more than welcome to reapply. But they're going to be given that time limit for those pre-qualifications. That's how long they're good for. And then once we pull the hard credit, it's going to extend it out to 20 days. So a big thing there is that once they go through, they get the soft credit, they can think over the pre-qualifications, ask any questions they have, go through, pull the hard credit. We'll give them more time to look over those documents at the end during the note signing. You ask any questions, you know, anything that happens at the end that we're going to need to do, definitely can happen, but we're going to give them that 20 days. Now, let's talk about borrower flow. I'm a visual guy. I'm going to show you here as kind of a breakdown. And then, like I said, later in the presentation, we're going to go page by page, make it very easy. I like seeing things right up front. So number one, application submission. So again, once you go through that certification, once you go through and get your personalized link, you can send that out to the borrower. They're going to take that link and they're going to fill out that first page of the application. And they're going to go through, and it's extremely simple. The big thing there is that, again, it's just a soft credit pull, and they're going to be able to see those offers right up front, those pre-qualified offers. And then once they select the pre-qualified offers, application's extremely short. You're going to see this, but here specifically, we're just going to verify their information. Number one, with an identity verification. This is driver's license, passport, resident card, things of that nature. They're allowed to upload. We're going to verify that through an automated system. They just have to upload that, or they can send it in. And then we are going to have them go through an income verification, which I'm going to be talking about a lot during this presentation later. But they'll go through, they'll verify their income, and we're going to have that automated system take a look at their DTI as well as the rest of the underwriting when it comes to verifying that income. And then finally, they're going to go to the end of the application where they're going to provide more information. They're going to be filling in ownership type, marital status. They're going to put in their social, because at that point, then they're going to go through and we're going to do a hard credit pull right after they select their disbursement account. This and in the entirety is the application. From here, they're going to look through their notes, agree to them, modify the final offer if they'd like, and then we're going to wrap things up for their notary session. But it's this quick and easy. Again, they just go through, they apply. If they like those pre-qualified offers, they're going to select their offer. And they just got to go through a couple pages on the online website. Boom, get that application all wrapped up. So before we see that application, let's talk about specifics. Number one, let's talk about offers. Let's talk about the underwriting. So number one, the initial draw amount will depend on their offers. We at lowest here will go to $20,000. So they're always going to get $20,000 as a minimum if offers are willing, or if offers are present, I should say, up to a maximum of $400,000 per borrower. So it'll go through, if they get the $400,000, great, but it will depend on their pre-qualified offers. That's the most we will go for here at REMN. And for the origination fee, like I said, that is going to be variable, and they're going to be able to select that. So we're going to see that on the offer screen, but that origination fee is going to be selectable between 1.5% to 3.99%. It will depend on their state and the pre-qualified offers, what is available. So they'll be able to see their selections on the offer screen, and that percentage is of that initial draw. So they're going to have that roll together for the total. We're going to be able to visually see that later. But again, that is the fee there. That is not what they pay you to closing. That is just part of the total and a part of what the monthly payments are calculated. So super easy. They can go through an application. They don't got to pay anything initially. Then they got easy monthly payments. So for terms, very specifically, we have 4, we have 5, we have 10, we have 15, and we have 30. So they're going to be able to select those terms. It's going to be amortized out for that. And again, we have no prepayment penalties. Losing my words, apparently. And then for the APR itself, it is going to be fixed. So they're going to be able to see what that APR is depending on that term they select on the offer screen. And then we are also offering them an auto pay discount of 0.25%. So if they want to go through and sign up to auto pay, they definitely can. It's pretty easy, makes the monthly payments easy, and they get a discount for it. So kind of a win-win situation. Now, talking about the underwriting very specifically, well, number one, like I said, it is an AUS. So that is a system that's going to run through constantly in the background, give them the pre-qualified offers, run against the income they verify, and go into those final offers. It is a proprietary system. Number one, we're looking for a DTI of less than 50%. Some cases 45%, but for the most part, we're looking for less than 50%. So once they do that soft credit pull, we're going to take that monthly debt payments, that experience reporting, as well as the income that they state on the first page. We're going to do those DTI calculations there, and as well as income verification. Again, we do a FICO 9 model specifically, just to make it easy on the borrower. It's the newest model there. We're going to look for a minimum of 640 on primary residences and a minimum of 680 on secondary homes. This also includes investment properties as well. So we're going to be taking a look, and again, that system's going to do the full calculation. We're not going to have someone with a pen and paper doing anything like that. They're typically going to see those offers in less than 30 seconds, so we're going to do all those calculations. As well as we're going to be looking at the CLTV using property information and that AVM. So at max, we can go up to is 85%. As well as 70% max on the CLTV for secondary homes. And again, this includes investment properties. So there specifically, there's going to be a tiny bit of underwriting between the two in the difference, but they're going to know exactly what that pre-qualified offer is. And again, that just calculates it pretty dang fast. On top of that, again, on that first page, what's going to happen is they're going to state their household income, and then later in the application, they're going to go through, they're going to verify their income. Now, primarily for income verification, this is a fully automated process. So what's going to happen here is that they're going to go through and they're going to have a variety of ways to verify their income. They can do one, they can do multiple. And what the system's looking for is it's looking again to that DTI, it's looking to that underwriting. So all they're going to need to do is verify enough income to confirm their offer that they selected. So they may not need to verify the full stated income, just enough for their offer. And once they verify enough income, they'll be able to proceed. So our income verification, pretty easy. We do take household income, and what we mean by that is they can include spousal income when it comes to community, property, and homestead states. So they can do joint checking, joint taxes, they can send in a spousal pay stub, that kind of thing. But primarily, we are going to have them link through with that automated system, and there's a couple methods. Number one, they can link up their checking account. So they'll go through, we use Plaid when we go ahead and link that. So we're going to, one, take a look at their income, two, do any fraud checks on the account itself. It's automatically going to go through. So typically someone's just going to have to link up their checking account. It's going to go through and verify their income, and then boom, it's pretty easy to get that verified. They can link up more than one checking account if they have multiple if they'd like. So they can go through. It's the same method each time. They're going to go through, going to go in Plaid, select their bank or the credit union, and then they're going to put in their credentials. That system's going to go through and verify their income. A lot of the times people can get through this pretty quickly. And this also is a really, really good way to verify income. And because one, they can use the same account for the disbursement account. So it's kind of like two birds with one stone, where they link up their account. They both go to income verification, as well as when they get to disbursement, they can select that same account. As well, it's really good on the back end. It's going to be doing a lot of fraud checks, so it kind of knocks that out as well. So typically we suggest checking first, one or multiple, and if that doesn't work, or if they want to verify more income, they are more than welcome to go through and link up taxes, either using a tax provider on the list or the IRS.gov. It's pretty simple to make an account if they don't have one either. As of right now, we're taking the 2021 taxes, the most recent taxes, when we go ahead and verify those. We'll also take a look at their payroll. So a lot of times people have, say, ADP, they can link that up there on the list, or if they don't, they can always send in a most recent pay stub that we'll have one of our agents take a look at and verify into the system. But again, they're entering that into an automated system. We'll take a look, as well as things like Social Security award letters or disability award letters as well that they can send in. We can also take asset accounts, and what I mean by asset accounts is I mean savings accounts, retirement accounts, 401k, that kind of thing. They'll go through, there's a variety of lists that they can link up, and again, they can do one of these, they can do multiple, they can do, you know, multiple of each one of these, or they can go through and link, say, joint checking or taxes when it comes to spouses, and then once they verify enough income, they'll be able to proceed. And one of the great things there is the fact that, again, up until this point, it is still soft credit. So going through, they can select their pre-qualified offer, they upload an ID, and boom, they can go ahead and jump on this automated system online, verify their income. No need to send in documentation to an underwriter. That's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks. But here they do have the option to do a manual document upload when it comes to things like their most recent pay stub, or again, Social Security award letters, disability award letters. And then we'll have an agent go through and put that into this system if the information is all good. Now, let's talk about what happens if they cannot either verify their full income, or if their hard credit comes in lower or higher than their soft credit. They will be presented with alternative offers. This is going to work the same as the offer screen. But going through here, again, that AUS, that automated underwriting system, is just going to keep calculating things as they go through the application. So the big thing there is that those initial offers are just a pre-qualification. It's not until final underwriting that they'll see the final offer and be able to select it or modify it if they like. But if their income comes in any lower, they may have an option to either verify more accounts if they have any, again, doing different checking, do taxes, pay stubs if they're full-time employees or part-time, or they could be given alternative offers. And this is where the system will be running this through constantly, say, hey, you verified this amount. You could either borrow up to this amount, or you can select a new offer. So again, this is a fully automated system. They're going to know right away what's going on in this application, what offers are available to them. And this same thing is going to happen during the hard credit. So if the hard credit, it comes in lower, they may be shown a new screen. And in fact, I had a situation where a borrower's hard credit came in higher, and so they saw even better offers. But traditionally, they will go through in about a day or two. Typically, their credit won't change too much, but if it does, they can be declined if it's too low. So again, those initial offers are pre-qualifications, and then after that hard credit pull and the income verification, they'll be able to see those final offers. And those final offers, they can either select either the same one in most situations, or they can go through and modify their offer if they like. So if they make a decision in the middle of the application and go, I want a little bit less or a little bit more, those offers can be reselected. And this is before what's called the note signing stage, when they sign those documents for notary. So they'll be given a final little screen, and we'll see that here pretty soon, where it's going to go, hey, just taking a look, what would you like the final offer to be? Here's your selections. Now let's talk about a couple more really small little requirements, then I'm going to jump into the application. We're going to go through one together. Number one, for eligible properties, we take SFRs, we take townhomes, we take condominiums, and a big thing I like to talk about at condominiums, make life easy, is no questionnaire is required for these. So definitely they can go through, they can apply on any of these, as well as any PUDs. We definitely can take PUDs. And as I said earlier, we can also take secondary homes and investment properties, but just keep in mind for secondary homes and investment properties, the underwriting is a little bit different than it would be on a primary. But these are absolutely eligible. They go through, they apply. If it's not an eligible property, they'll see a splash screen. They'll say, hey, at this time, we don't lend on this property type. They'll get information and a notice on that. And again, it's just soft credit. So it's always welcome to have them apply and take a look at their pre-qualified offers, if any. Some other requirements I want to talk about. Number one is if it was a purchase mortgage, there is this 90-day seasoning requirement. That is a hard requirement. They're going to have to wait 90 days, for that seasoning requirement. And then outside of that, they're more than welcome to apply. And then for lien positions themselves, we here will go up to the first or second lien position. So again, it's going to do all these calculations as they go through the application. It's going to take a look at that information, look at the property information, all that fun stuff, as well as we are also going to be looking at the ownership type. So for supported ownership type, we do sole, we do joint, those are all great. We will also do properties in revocable trusts. It has to be revocable. So we will take a look at that. We will request their certificate of trust to review, and these have to be in eligible states. So you're going to FAQ with some information on that, but the big thing there is that we're going to be looking at specific states where we can get a certificate of trust, and we're going to look for that revocability and match that up to the probate code. So can't do them, a little bit of restriction. Otherwise, sole and joint, absolutely good to go. For unsupported, just a couple call outs. Number one, we don't lend to LLCs. If it's an LLC, we can't lend to them at this time. We also can't do life estates at all, just in case that pops up, as well as land trusts. So if at any point our system or someone detects it's in one of these ownership types, we simply will not lend to them at that time if it is in one of these ownerships. Now, final couple slides till I jump into the application because I know you guys are eager to see it. So number one, let's just talk a little bit about post-funding. So post-funding, again, as soon as 5 business days, they're going to get that full disbursement. They're going to have a borrower's portal where they can go through, they can do monthly payments. If they sign up to auto pay, it makes it even easier. They'll just go through and pull that. But on the borrower's portal, they'll be able to see all their documentation. They'll be able to see things like their HELOC agreement, as well as they're going to be able to see their account summary with information on the amount available when it comes to credit, as well as any payments that were made. But overall, it's just simple monthly payments. They're going to log in, they're going to have their payments, they can make a payment there online, or they can sign up to auto pay, which makes life easy, and they get their rate discount. And they're going to have the option right there on the borrower's portal to redraws. So they can do it right there. It'll go straight into their disbursement account as easy as possible. They log in, they go, oh, you know, awesome, I have X amount of credit available, I'm going to pull out this much. Boom, ACH transfer, it's going to go right to their disbursement account. Moving on just a little bit, we're going to talk about that redraw structure. So number one, just kind of honing in here with this little chart here I have on the left, it will depend on the term that they select. And I'll talk about this a bit more as well when we go through the application. So number one, for the loan term itself, again, we have 5, 10, 15, and 30. So their redraw period will depend on the loan term that they select. So for example, if they select a 30-year loan term, be amortized out for 30 years, and they'll be able to redraw for that initial 5 years. They'll have a 5-year draw term. Big thing here is that they can draw up to 100% of their total account. So that is going to be their initial disbursement plus the origination fee. So please keep in mind with that initial disbursement, that's going to be calculated into that full amount. So for example, if someone goes through and they're offered up to 400,000, but they only take 200,000, they can't later redraw up to 400,000. That final offer, that initial draw plus the origination fee, that's their account total and maximum. They can also redraw to a minimum of $500. So once they get above $500 in available credit, by paying down that principal, they will then have the option to do those redraws. And again, that maximum is going to be that total loan amount of that initial draw plus the origination fee. Super important to me there, just as a distinction. So that's it. That's what I got for the slide deck. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through an application together here. Let's talk about this and even more. And again, I really like kind of just showing this up front. So we've got a super easy website. Again, what's going to happen here is that you are going to get a personalized link when you go through, get all that certification done, and you're going to be able to send that to the borrower. This here is going to be just our website where anyone can jump on and apply, but I encourage you, get that personalized link, talk to your borrower, discuss it with them, send them over that link. Because once they open that link, it's going to start an application. So let's start an application together. Let's go through it step by step. Let me show you all the details. So number one here, what's going to happen is that we are going to have them fill out this single page of information. This is a majority of the information we're going to take into account along with the rest of the information we're going to pull on, say, the credit pull, soft credit pull, as well as that AVM we're going to do. So number one, we are going to do property for financing. So what's going to happen here very specifically, sorry for a little bit of lag here, but what's going to happen here is that one, obviously property for financing they're going to put in. So we're going to put the lien on to take a look at. It's going to help them pre-fill that information, but we're going to make sure that matches up because this is what that AVM is going to be on. Number two, we're going to ask for that occupancy type. So very specifically here, primary, secondary, or investment. So again, on secondary and investment, they have a little bit of different underwriting, say 70% max CLTV. So it's very important for them to put on there what it's going to be, as well as it's going to come into things like rescission period is not going to be needed for secondary properties. So the system's going to take that all into account. Then they're going to be putting in their legal first and last name. So in this case, it's going to have to match up with their ID. We're going to do fraud checks. So very important to tell them no nicknames, right? My legal name is Alexander. I would not put in Alex because that's not what's on my driver's license. You're going to have to put in your legal name, match it up with the ID. Otherwise, they're going to have to reapply. So it's very important for them to put that in, and obviously the correct birth date. And then here is where they're going to put in their household salary income, including bonus, a little bit of asterisks, basically saying what I said is that for household income, we will take spousal income in community property and homestead states. Otherwise, since there's a single primary applicant, we're solely going to be looking at most of their information, including the credit checks. So they're going to go through and they're going to verify their income specifically. They can also put in things like any rental, investment, or retirement under other income, because again, they can link up asset accounts like 401k and such. They'll be putting in their salary income. We are going to do a verification of employment. Most of the time, that's going to be completed automatically through the system using a variety of methods, but we're going to make sure every application that we do a VOE here at REMN. So we're going to take a look. They can select whichever one. And then very obviously, for things like retired, that's going to be auto-complete through the system. At this time, though, we do not lend to unemployed. So if they select unemployed, just a simple decline. And then they're going to go through and they're going to make an email, or they put in their email and they're going to put in a password. And very importantly, this is going to be creating an account with REMN. It's going to go through, this is how they're going to log into that dashboard, to that borrower's portal. They're going to have that email, they're going to have that password. And logging in, they can either have a magic link sent to their email, which is just a link sent to their email every time they're logged in, or they can put in their password as well. I'll show you that a bit later. And then finally, they agree to our terms and services and electronic communication policy. And very specifically here, they're giving us here at REMN authorization to pull the soft credit. So once I hit I agree, what's going to happen is that it's going to do a variety of things. One is going to pull soft credit. Two, it's going to do an AVM. It's going to run through all our fund systems here on the back end, and it's going to do that full underwriting. And again, these are going to be for pre-qualified offers, but you can see how fast this is for the borrower. They're going to get that link from you. They're going to fill out that first page, and they're going through the method. So here, let's break down a couple things. Number one, we can see at the very left, I'm going to be pointing out this a couple times. This is the flow of the application. So this is what I showed you originally, right? Basic information, that first page they fill out. They're going to then select an offer, that pre-qualified offer, do that ID verification, link their income sources. You're going to provide a bit more information, and then sign documents, boom, schedule notary. That's it. That's the full application. That's how quick and easy it is. Absolutely. And again, they're going to have 10 days from soft credit, 20 days from hard credit. If they have any questions, if they want to call in and discuss anything, they're going to have the time to do so. But if they just want to get through it, it's really fast. So here specifically, what we have is we have a mortgage attestation. We are going to be checking on the trade lines, any liens or anything on the property itself. But this just gives them an extra step if they want to put any unverified mortgages on there, anything that we missed. But typically what it's going to have is it's going to have their lender, right? We go up to the second lien positions. Typically they're going to have their mortgage there, lender's name, and that origination date, as well as that origination amount or original amount. Either way you want to look at that. So I'm going to say, yep, you're absolutely 100% right here. I have selected, I got my mortgage on my property. I went to second lien position. Let's rock and roll. So I'm going to hit continue. It's going to load up with our wonderful icon that I like so much. And let's time me. Let's see if this is less than 30 seconds. There we go. Perfect. See? So they've gone through basic info. We are now at select an offer. And here very specifically is where they're going to be able to look through their pre-qualified offer. So here at the very top, we're going to be able to type in the exact amount we want. And again, this is going to be for initial disbursement. So this initial disbursement is going to be the amount they're going to get into their account. And this also calculates in their total loan amounts. They can type it in, they can put it in. This is the amount of cash they want. They're also going to then put in their one-time origination fee. And again, it's going to be selectable between 1.5% to 3.99%. This is not a slider. They're going to have different selections. So in this case, we're going to have a 1.5% or 3.99% selection. And it is up to them to decide. So the big thing here is the higher the origination amount is, the lower the APR here. So we can see how that makes tiny adjustments, and it's going to all do that in real time. And they can only go up to 400,000 with that origination amount in conclusion. So you can see as well how that's kind of totaling out as I kind of make the selections. And then from there, we're going to have terms. So we're going to have a 5-year, we're going to have a 10-year, 15-year, and 30-year, but it will depend on the pre-qualified offers. It will depend on the amount they select. So we can see here the 5 and 10 years locked off because it's only available up to a certain amount. with a set cash. So if I lower this down, let's say for example, we can see now, boom, and this is all again going to update in real time. So they have 10 days, they want to play around, they want to think it over, they want to ask questions, but they're going to be able to see right away, cool, I'm going to get $300,000 in my personal account, right, with an origination amount of 3.91%. And I'm going to select a 30-year term. This is fully amortized. I'm going to have that fixed APR. That fixed APR is going to be on that initial disbursement of 300,000 with an estimated monthly payment. So they know exactly what they're getting into. And then from here, we're going to break it down further for them. So initial draw amount of 300,000. It's going to give them the exact cash when it comes to the origination fee. And so this is going to be the total loan amount, 311,970. If I could do my math, that's going to be the total loan amount that they can draw up to. So that's going to be initial draw plus the origination fee. And then it's going to break it down even further to say, hey, here's your redraw structure. And just as we discussed on a 30-year term, right? I selected a 30-year term. It's a 5-year redraw period. If I was to select 15, we can see that it lowers it down to a 4-year draw period. So it will depend on their term. It's going to break that down for them. And then they're going to have that 0.25% APR by enrolling in autopay. And again, I think it's pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and continue. It's going to break down that 10 calendar days from submitting this information. And we're going to move on to the next part of the application process. From here, they're going to have to upload a driver's license. They can do remind me later if they would like to do it after income verification. Here specifically, though, I'm going to make life easy for all of us. I'm going to upload a driver's license. But the nice thing here is that when you go through to verify, this saves your progress. The whole application does. So if, for example, I'm doing it on my computer and I say, oh, shoot, right, I want to grab my phone and take a photo, I can go through and just log in directly using that email and that password that I had created earlier, and then it'll take me right back to this page I'm on to do upload a file. And then on the actual mobile phone itself, it'll have an option to take a photo of the driver's license. Otherwise, I can provide it via email. We can put it in on our end, or they can do remind me later. So I'm going to hit upload and continue. Not much more I have to say when it comes to identity verification. We will do the fraud checks. It does have to match their information, first and last date of birth, as well as we go through an automated system that does fraud checks. And then we're going to do like a final check on the ID itself. Finally, we're going to go through here. This is going to be income verification. So again, we've gone through that initial stage of filling out the information. We have selected our pre-qualification. We have verified our identity. Now, finally, we're going to go through and we're going to link our income sources. So again, there are a variety of methods. Checking is going to be the easiest because it's really good for fraud detection. So it gets through our system pretty quickly, as well as they can select this for disbursement. But if they'd like to, they can always do tax returns, say the irs.gov. They can link pay stubs, say their payroll provider like ADP, or link any asset accounts. And it will depend on their employment type. For example, if I selected self-employed earlier, I would be unable to upload any pay stubs. But for those, again, that do get pay stubs, they can upload them manually. We can put them in on our end, as well as they can always do, say, Social Security award letters or disability award letters. But I'm going to link checking. So I'm going to link checking. Again, this goes through Plaid. It's going to let me know, hey, you need online account and your account login credentials. So it's quite simple. It's exactly like logging into your bank account online. It's going to give you information about Plaid itself. It's going to give you all that stuff. They will have to have an institution on a list. In this case, I'm going to select Chase. But basically, they'll go through, they'll select their bank. There's going to be a little pop-up where they're going to sign in with their username and password. And then they have to specifically give Plaid permission to go through and pull from either their checking or their savings here, agree to the terms and conditions. And then once that all happens, and again, this is a test site, so nothing too crazy, but it's going to go through and it's going to pull the transaction history, account holder, and account balances. And again, it's going to say, hey, REMN is requesting your access for all of this. So they're going to see specifically, cool, going through a REMN app, REMN's going to get access to this. We do not save their login information as security purposes. We're simply doing this for income verification and fraud checks. So it's going to check the names on the account. It's going to check information. It's going to check those deposits as well. So what's going to happen here is you can see I linked up a Chase. It's going to retrieve that information. I, again, may not need to select or verify the full income, that $220,000. Simply because I was offered up to $400,000, but I selected a $300,000 offer. If I do have to verify up to this amount, the system will let me. If there's alternative offers, the system will let me. And in this case, I verified the full income. So as soon as I verify, I'm going to continue on. There's no reason to link up more. There's no reason to get stuck there. Then very specifically, what's going to happen is I'm going to provide more information, sign documents, and that's the end of the application. We're done. We're coming up 10 minutes here on the presentation. That was the whole application, basically. So here, very specifically, I'm going to fill in the last pieces of information, and you've thought to yourself, you're like, hey, Alex, what's going on? Have you done a hard credit check yet? No, we haven't done hard credit up to this point. Again, that is near the end of the application. So in this particular case, what's going to happen is I'm going to go through and select my marital status. This is very important for things like additional signers and community property states. We want to know so our system can know to add on any additional signers that they'll do at the end, as well as we're going to do any ownership types. So it's going to take a look through. I'm actually going to be incredibly lazy here. I apologize, but we're going to go through and we are going to have them select the ownership type as well as finance purpose. So just keep a note here, we're just taking a look at finance purpose, more for data collection here at REMN. If they select debt consolidation, it's not going to take into consideration any future debt paid off when the DTI. We've already gone past income verification. So that is completely up to them how they want to spend that money, but we will have them select that finance purpose. And then this is where they're going to put in that social security number, and it's going to give us authorization to pull that hard credit. So they're going to accept the Housing Financial Discrimination Act 1977, all that good stuff. They just have to go through and agree to these forms. They're going to agree going through the home equity loan disclosure. And then this is where it's going to break it down with information both on themselves and that loan number, as well as things like your NMLS and MLO information if you sent them that link. So it's going to have all that information right there for you. So go through, we hit I agree. It is going to go load, and then this is where we're going to do fraud checks, a lot of fraud checks on our end through the automated system. This is where we're also going to be looking at information when we go through and pull that hard credit. Here specifically, I apologize for speeding through just for time, but here specifically, they're going to select ethnicity, race, and gender. We do not necessarily care what they enter. They can put in whatever they'd like, or they can just put, I do not wish to provide this information. Just some extra information at the end that's required. And very finally, they're going to submit their application in its entirety. So it's going to break down their full application, the offer that they selected, all the information we just entered is going to be in here. And then we can see all your broker information is going to have the name, the NMLS number, and signature with the rest when it goes through. And if for any reason at all, there is a customer support line where they can call through if anything's wrong or if they have questions, or they can contact you as well. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to hit submit application. It's going to load through, and very finally, we are at the end. So I am going to select my disbursement account, and we can see here when I linked up my Chase account income verification, I linked both checkings and savings. So now I have the option to select one or the other, or I can connect a new account. It doesn't have to be through Plaid. I can put in an account and routing number. We're just going to have to do some extra fraud prevention on our end, typically asking for like a bank statement. But overall, what's going to happen is that if they have an online that they can link through Plaid, that is the easiest. In this case, I link checking, boom, I select that, we're good to go. Very finally here at the very, very end, they're going to agree to that auto pay if they selected it. And then this is where we're going to go ahead and we pulled the hard credit. You saw how fast that was. I didn't have a chance to finish that sentence. Here specifically, we pull the hard credit. We do the final AVM, the final AUS. We run through. And at that point there, what's going to happen is that they're going to have their final offers. This is based on hard credit. This is based on the final AVM. These are then going to be their final offers. And in this example, the hard credit came in lower. So it's going to tell me, hey, select your revised offer. So it's going to revise that offer based on the final underwriting, and then this will be what their final offer will be. And again, in this example, their hard credit came in lower, and it's going to be the same screen, but it's going to be different, as you can see, terms and conditions based on that hard credit. But once I hit save and continue, great, we are set, we are amazing, we are done. Here, I can finally, if I want to go back and modify for any reason, but again, we can see final offers. And what I'll leave you with is that was it, that was the application. The rest is handled by us. The rest is going to be done through the automated system. So what's going to happen here is that they're going to go through and review and sign their loan documents, just the I agree like you saw earlier with the HELOC agreement, the like. We're going to go through and verify their employment. This is typically done through an automated system. If for any reason we need to do it manually, a customer success associate will reach out and contact them. And then once everything is done and complete there, we're going to wrap things up on our end. So one of our agents is going to go through, they are going to take a look at everything. They're going to get all the documentation together with the property legal description, do any final fraud checks we may need to do. And then the applicant will be able to go in and either schedule an appointment with the notary. So if it is a mobile notary, they're going to put in that date, time, and location. Or if it's an e-notary, would again just do a little video session. They can get that done at any time we are open. But that is it. That is the presentation I have for you today. So that is the borrower's experience. And again, from there, they would move on to one final screen where it's going to say, hey, we're going to generate these signing documents. They'll go through those signing documents and get to a final screen. And if for any reason there's any fraud checks we have to do, say that their disbursement account they linked, we're going to have to look at, say, their bank account or do any extra things on our end. One of our agents will go through and take a look at that application, and then they'll be met with a splash screen that looks like this. So thank you for submitting. And then they can simply either give a call to expedite the process, or they can just wait and we'll reach out to them once everything is complete. But that is what I have for you today. Yeah, thank you very much for attending.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alex. We really appreciate the walkthrough. For those of you who may have joined us a little bit later, we did have Frank walk us through what the broker experience was. And Alex, what he just walked us through is what the borrower experience is. So once you fill out your HELOC eligibility form, you're going to get that unique link. You forward it over to your borrower. They're going to go ahead and complete the application. We did get a lot of questions today, plenty of questions. We're going to follow up with a good majority of them after today's call. Carl, we did have a lot of questions regarding how are loan officers compensated. Is that something that we're prepared to answer right now, or is that something that we would have to gather some more information on?
Well, let me just add one thing. Alex, that was incredibly detailed. We really appreciate that. As long as this whole presentation took, like Alex suggested in the beginning, this is a very, very quick process. You probably have never dealt with a process this quick, almost like a credit card application that you're submitting, putting all the information in, and you're getting an immediate feedback whether or not you're approved or denied. So thank you so much, Alex. I just want to mention a couple things. Number one is we've been unable recently to allow HELOCs in the state of Florida because of the hurricane recently. So that now, besides a couple small counties, is now 100% open right now. So if you are looking to originate some of these in the state of Florida, reach out to your REMN account executive. They can help you with that. I also want to mention that this whole presentation, the whole recording, will be sent out to all registrants. And that question that you just brought up, we will include that in the Q&A. There is absolutely loan officer broker compensation on this product, which is phenomenal. And like Alex suggested, that this is a full draw, so the compensation would be on the full loan amount. And the only other thing I want to say is, like any other application, and like I said at the beginning, business is very difficult to come by these days. So make sure you get to know your borrowers, ask all the questions as if this is a first mortgage, because down the road, and one thing I want to state is I just took a look at the 10-year bond yield. It's down to 3.413. So rates are slowly but surely, hopefully coming down. Once rates do come down to a point that is acceptable for a lot of these borrowers that have these very low fixed rates on their first lien, these are potential refi opportunities for all of you and to assist your borrowers to reduce their payments. So make sure you go through that whole process. And again, I just want to thank everyone in attendance for your attendance. And please go to the REMN Wholesale LinkedIn, follow it, because all of the new products, even the products that we have on board right now, like the HELOC, you'll be able to gain some more information on that as well and get notifications. So again, thank you very, very much. Everyone have a great day, have a great holiday season, and we hope to hear from you with our HELOCs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy your day.